Welcome to Make It Rain with Adam Schein on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Yes, Thursday edition of Make It Rain with Adam Schein here on VSiN. And my goodness, we have so much to do today. You gotta love sports. Go New York, go New York, go. We did it again. Our Knicks. My goodness. I hope you took the Knicks money line last night when they were down by 20. Wow. Are you kidding me? We have so much to do on my Knicks, so much to do on how the odds have completely shifted for the series. Knicks and the Boston Celtics. OKC and Denver went exactly as expected, as we said on Make It Rain with Adam Schein yesterday. Maple Leafs money line, you betcha. We were able to take care of business on that one. I can't wait to get into our favorite ice and hardwood plays tonight. Patty Meagher's with us. Why? Because he's awesome, and it's Thursday. We've got Dayball, we've got baseball, we've got Bills over-under and news for this upcoming season. So much to do in the world of sports and sports conversation and sports betting. And how about my Knicks? Freaks, we did it again. Knicks pull off another 20-point comeback and take a monster 2-0 series lead. They beat the Celtics, the defending champs, twice, down 20 in each game in Boston. I don't know what the craziest part of that sentence is. Are you kidding me? Absolutely, positively sensational. And I think if you're being honest here, and as you know, I'm a diehard Knicks fan, this was a great, awesome combo of a comeback for the Knicks and a total, pathetic, embarrassing, haphazard, lazy, cocky, condescending meltdown for the Boston Celtics. It was both. It was a comeback and a collapse. Let's start at the end. I mean, first of all, how does Joe Mazzulla not call a timeout? Jalen Brunson hits a couple of free throws. You know, he's going to hit it, 12.5 to go. Couple of free throws, Knicks go up by 1. Now, I try not to paint with a broad brush when it comes to strategy for any sports. Well, you must go for the onside kick here, or you must go for 2 there, or this is a perfect situation for a sacrifice bunt, or you have to foul in this. No. Every situation is different. And I can appreciate sometimes why a coach wants to put pressure on a defense in the NBA, but not this situation. 1 timeout left. The offense was chaotic and clueless for the Celtics all fourth quarter long. Knicks defense has been sensational. Joe Mazzulla called timeout, set up a play. That was complete and utter amateur hour when you take a look at it from the standpoint of everything going on with the Boston Celtics. Instead, they let Tatum try to drive the length of the floor. Mitchell Robinson picked him up at around the 3-point line. He was basically in his jock. Phenomenal defense. Mitch had an unbelievable game, plus minus of plus 19 last night. Tatum tries to go left. OG Anunoby picked him up, and he's a tremendous defender. And then Mikal Bridges stole the ball. They couldn't even get a shot off. Second straight comeback, signed, sealed, and delivered by Mikal Bridges with the steal. Are you kidding me? Absolutely unbelievable. Robinson, OG, Bridges, absolutely positively sensational. Those 3 players, Tom Thibodeau, get a ton of credit. Great plan, great execution, great defense. Remember, it was 73-53 with 2:11 left in the third quarter. Knicks outscored the Boston Celtics 38-17 the rest of the way. 38-17. They were up 16 with 8:40 to go. 84-68. Pritchard hit a 3. For the next 7:56 of the game, the Boston Celtics scored 2 points on free throws. Did not hit a shot from the field. That's flat out deplorable. And that's Boston Celtics basketball during this postseason series against the Knicks. Look, the Knicks deserve credit, obviously. Mikal Bridges, this is why the Knicks made the trade. And look, you know before the season started on Make It Rain with Adam Schein, my preseason pick when we did our season betting preview OKC over the Knicks in the NBA Finals. And what did I say? Mikal Bridges, they made the trade, gave up the 5 first-round picks for the same reason they got OG Anunoby in the January before in the RJ Barrett deal, to beat Boston. They needed guys on defense to guard Brown and Tatum. And these guys, when you look at Anunoby and you look at Bridges, have outplayed Brown and Tatum in the first 2 games of the series. That right there in a nutshell is the difference when you look at it. So Mikal Bridges, phenomenal defense again, 14 points all in the fourth quarter. The cap, Jalen Brunson, had that smooth J. 87-86. Honestly, that was the first time I actually believed that this was going to happen. Knicks can't come back again, right? That's insane. That's not going to happen. Karl-Anthony Towns was tough, 21 points, 17 rebounds, very assertive and aggressive early. Mitchell Robinson was the only primetime Knick that was plus on the plus-minus, plus 19. Josh Hart was an Energizer Bunny, had 23 points. Tibbs was absolutely incredible. And how about the pathetic nature of the Boston Celtics? You had to figure Jason Tatum would come back and play well. 5 of 19, 13 points. That was, if you're a Celtics fan, garbage. I've never seen a quote-unquote great player have the roller coaster ride quite like Jason Tatum. He wins a championship. Then everything happened with Kerr in the Olympics. He was phenomenal this regular season, phenomenal final 3 games of the Orlando series. He's been a double agent for Boston. And how about all these bad shots? Horford wide open 3, 17 on the shot clock. Same with Brown, same with Tatum. That's what I mean when I say lazy and arrogant. Like these guys thought, well, we just beat the Knicks all 4 times in the regular season. Roll out the basketball and we'll beat them again. Not going to be the case. They played foolish. I don't know what Mazzulla was doing with the timeout, as I mentioned at the end. The fouls on Mitchell Robinson, he said after the game. Mitch was plus 19, as I mentioned, so he's trying to get him out. I would make the case you're the Boston Celtics defending champs playing at home. Just play your game. Do your thing. Do your job, as Bill Belichick once said in Boston. My goodness. I mean, if I'm a Celtics fan, Tatum, as I mentioned, 12 for 42. Brown, 8 for 23. Tatum, 12 for 42 in the series. Brown, 8 for 23 last night. I mean, just a pathetic collapse by Boston. Phenomenal job by the Knicks. And take a look at the odds now for the Knicks and the Celtics the rest of the way. Are you kidding me? Remember when the Knicks were a massive underdog in this series? Remember that? Remember when Boston going into game 1 was minus 800 to win? Listen, I'll describe it this way as a Knicks fan. I am cautiously optimistic. I'm not crowning the Knicks. I'm not going to get over the top. I'm not going to get braggadocious. The Garden, Madison Square Garden, is going to be lit 3:30 on Saturday afternoon. My goodness, everyone's going to be punch drunk on emotion, actually drunk with a 3:30 start. The Garden's going to be rocking. Big key, I think, the Knicks haven't started a game well. I mean, if Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns are dominant early, Knicks will have a real shot to go up 3-0 on the Boston Celtics. I mean, this Celtics team has just been deplorable. Knicks have been gutty. I think that Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose deserve so much credit. And I think the Knicks right now, my goodness, watching this team play, it is just amazing for your sports soul. We've been saying all year, I'm making it rain with Adam Schein. Don't bet on Boston to win a championship. Early, for me, it was the Knicks. Then it quickly became Cleveland. You are seeing the reasons why I have said do not touch the Boston Celtics all season long. My goodness. How about Oklahoma City last night? Now, this was easy to predict, right? This was as expected, as advertised. How about 87 points for OKC in the first half before the Chuckster, Charles Barkley, the Inside the NBA crew, came on screen at the midway point of the game? 87 points. That's the best first half, most points ever in the history of the NBA postseason. SGA had 34 points in the first 3 quarters. Holmgren was great. Williams was great. The depth, the talent, the coaching, smoked them. Absolutely, positively smoked them. Again, that's what you expected to transpire. Now, we said before the series started that you would see OKC win this series in 6 games. Am I My opinion has not wavered, has not changed. My bets remains the same. My take remains the same. I believe that SGA and OKC winning this series in 6. And I believe that OKC and SGA, who will be named MVP, are going to win the entire thing. And it's not going to be easy, right? Jokic is terrific. I do think that, on the heels of how the Thunder lost in game number 1, they had no chance, Denver, in game number 2. But check out the championship odds. I think it kind of speaks volumes here. And it's been trending this way for a while now. And I hope you got in before the season when I told you Thunder to win the entire thing. I mean, this is a pretty heavy favorite when you look at it from the Oklahoma City Thunder perspective. I will also add to this, which I think is great. This is the first time the NBA, before this season, has never had a 60-win team face an 0-2 deficit in the second round ever since the league went to a 16-team playoff format introduced in the 83-84 season. Now, you have Cleveland down 0-2, and you have Boston down 0-2. I think that is amazing for basketball. I think competitive balance is great. The parity is great. Also, the teams that are doing the underdog mentality and winning these games, it's not like some of these on the lower seeds winning the NCAA tournament and tune it out. If we end up getting Pacers Knicks, or if we end up getting, the Minnesota Timberwolves going to the NBA Finals, that'll be unbelievable for the association. These playoffs have just been unreal.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Smarter bets start here and last all year long with VSiN Pro. For a limited time, we're slashing the price of our annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $199. When you sign up today, we're going to throw in 2 extra months for free. 14 months of VSiN Pro access for less than 50 cents a day when you use the promo code PRO. Get 14 months of access to our daily best bets from the VSiN host and the guests, exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa, 24/7 live video, full show replay on the VSiN Watch app, plus all of our special edition betting guides. Head on over to VSiN.com/subscribe now and use the promo code PRO to lock in 14 months of the VSiN Pro for just $199. That's VSiN.com/subscribe. Welcome back. Make It Rain with Adam Schein. We're going to give you our favorite plays tonight on the ice and the hardwood. But first, we have some afternoon baseball updates because we love day ball. Oh, do we love day ball? We have a tie right now in Minnesota. The Twins and the Baltimore Orioles. It was 2-1 Baltimore. Dean Kramer with his second consecutive A outing for the Baltimore Orioles, but Minnesota has added an extra run, and now they are the betting favorite. That has moved dramatically here. Minus 215 for Minnesota, and when we checked when it was 2-1 before the show started, it was minus 250 for the Baltimore Orioles. So, listen, goes to show what home field and, having that ability to score and walk it off means when it comes to late innings for Las Vegas. Also, Orioles are dreadful. This is not a beginning of the season swoon. I told you before the season started, I do not like the Orioles to make the playoffs. So I am not a believer here in the Baltimore Orioles. So that game is not a bet at 2. Red Sox 3, Rangers 0. Red Sox 3, Rangers 0. Neither team has exactly lived up to expectations, but this was my prediction for the Make It Rain with Adam Schein ALCS before the season started. So anything that impacts me and the show, I'm genuinely into. Royals and the White Sox. Royals are piping hot. Won 15 of the last 17. They're up 2-0 right now on the lowly Chicago White Sox. Sal Perez has an RBI in this one. Bobby Witt is 1 for 2. The Pasquantch, Vinny Pasquantino, friend of the program. Sal Perez played another one. How about that? So 2 RBI, 2 hits for our guy, Sal Perez. By the way, if Sal Perez is not in the Hall of Fame, shut it down. This is a pro Sal Perez show. Sal Perez played for the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox or the Cubs or the Mets. I wouldn't even have to sell this. Sal Perez, who's won a championship, should absolutely be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And, of course, we have the Tigers and we have the Rockies. Tigers and the Rockies. 3:10 Eastern Time for the start for the Tigers and the Colorado Rockies. Tigers are up 2-0 right now. 2-0. The Detroit Tigers are leading the Colorado Rockies as we speak. The Rockies are obviously complete and utter embarrassment when it comes to Major League Baseball. Tigers, I mean, you could easily make a case right now. Team to beat in the American League. It's the beauty of the American League this year. You're going to have a slew of teams together, and you are going to say, okay, this is going to be the Royals and the Tigers and the Mariners and the Yankees and the Red Sox, and, let's see who can emerge here. I think the Tigers, I'd love to see them, for all the great Detroit fans, make a trade at the trade deadline. A.J. Hinch, superb manager. Skubal still the best pitcher in the American League. That team absolutely has it going on. Would love to see it. The vibes are great for Detroit sports, obviously, with the Pistons and the Lions. Love to see it. It's a great baseball city, too. A.J. Hinch is a superb skipper. That team can rake. I took them to make the playoffs before the season started. Did not have them winning the division. Had a Kansas City winning the division. But this is how you make the playoffs, right? Stockpile as many wins as you possibly can against bad teams. And the Rockies are the definition of bad, as in they're the worst. 2-0. Tigers over the Colorado Rockies. How about the Warriors at the Timberwolves tonight? And listen, spread on this one is a little too high, in my opinion. I'm not touching this one, right? We've seen the home team bounce back differently. Celtics obviously embarrassed themselves. Then you saw what transpired with Cleveland the night before. Then you see OKC, obviously, just absolutely bludgeoning Denver. No Steph Curry. He's got the hamstring. By the way, we're operating, to me, under the assumption that Steph Curry does not return for the rest of the series. They're going to reevaluate him with the hamstring strain in a week. Not back in a week. Reevaluate in a week. Historically, the Golden State Warriors medical staff is wonderfully conservative and cautious. So who knows if we're going to see Steph Curry back. I do think Minnesota bounces back and wins. I think Anthony Edwards plays better. He can't play worse. 0 field goals, 1 point in the first half in game number 1. No Steph. This should be an absolute bloodbath tonight, but we'll see. Because I do think Buddy Hield's going to play well. Playoff Jimmy Butler, Steve Kerr, top 5 coach of all time. Draymond Green was awesome in game number 1, knows what it takes. I still stand by my take. We're going to look at the series odds board. The Timberwolves in 6, but I expect Minnesota, especially with the way that Chris Finch called out Anthony Edwards for not having the efforts in game number 1. I think you'll see monster effort in game number 2 tonight. Our best bet cash last night. You're welcome, America and Canada. Maple Leafs, as we predicted, take a 2-0 series lead against the Florida Panthers. Mitch Marner, are you kidding me? Absolutely tremendous and well-timed goal last night to clinch game number 2. This one was hot and heavy and back and forth. And give Toronto a lot of credit with the backup goalie getting it done. Maple Leafs are going to win this series. We said Maple Leafs in 6, might even be 5 when it's all said and done. Toronto has handled success, prosperity, adversity at every single turn this postseason better than we've seen in the last 30 years. So Florida's obviously battle-tested, won the Cup last year. Can't stress enough how much we love the Toronto Maple Leafs to take care of business. The Stars take game 1 from the Jets, same old Jets. Mikko Rantanen, are you kidding me? Have a night. I mean, we haven't seen this in literally, I looked this up today, 40 years in the NHL, where a player has a hat trick in game 7 and then follows it up in the next round with a hat trick in game 1. I mean, this is unreal. He scored all 3 goals. This is one hell of a hater. he's still upset that Colorado traded him to Carolina, then goes back to the Dallas Stars. I said Stars would end up winning this one in 5 or 6 games. Still believe that'll be the case. That's where the money is, and I am going to continue to roll. I think the Jets should have lost against the St. Louis Blues. I don't think they're that good. So I will continue to preach that the Stars are going to be able to get the Jets derailed and thrown out of the postseason. Hurricanes Capitals game 2 tonight. And I want you to pay attention to the game board because I find this fascinating. I don't really understand it. Like, why? Why at the end of the day is Washington a home dog in this one? I vehemently disagree. I love Washington on the money line. Love Alexander Ovechkin and company to take care of business. And I still think that the Washington Capitals are going to be able to win this series. I think this is complete and utter disrespect. I'd be stunned if Washington lost. I think they'll be able to bounce back and win this series. Won't be in 5 games like we originally thought based upon the Hurricanes' game 1 win. But can Washington and Ovechkin still win this series? Well, yeah. And I just don't understand this, the Vegas odds here. We're a hockey show. Hurricanes minus 380, Capitals plus 300. I love the Washington Capitals to find the way to bounce back. We've loved the Oilers, even when they were down 0-2 against the LA Kings. Remember that? It feels like a lifetime ago. We've got game 2 tonight, and I want to stress, I can at least wrap my brain around why Vegas is the favorite. Vegas is at home. Vegas has a great home ice advantage. Vegas is good in every single phase. Edmonton money line. I mean, you're really going to bet against Connor McDavid as an underdog? Really going to bet against Leon Draisaitl as an underdog? Really going to bet against friend of the show, Zach Hyman, as an underdog? I mean, I can't stress enough how much I love the Oilers. McDavid's been amazing. This team's got it going on. They're motivated by last year. We said that the Oilers will win this series in 6. We will stand by that. You can get that right now at plus 200. Frankly, Oilers in 5 with a little more juice at plus 290 interests me as well. But I definitely like the Edmonton Oilers to win this series. And I think Edmonton going and taking care of business against the Vegas Golden Knights tonight makes all the sense in the world. Patrick Meagher will join us on Make It Rain with Adam Schein right after this.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Millions upon millions of baseball fans like me love Pete Rose. And if you're one of them, listen up. Pete Rose passed away last September. Now President Trump says he's considering a pardon for Pete's tax evasion conviction from the 1990s. Last person to interview Pete in studio just 10 days before his passing is asking President Trump to officially pardon him by May 14th when the Reds are going to host Pete Rose Nights at the Great American Ballpark. If you believe Pete deserves the honor, it's real easy. Go to pardonpete.com. Sign the petition. While you're there, you can also enter to win a baseball autograph by Pete himself. That's pardonpete.com. From Pete to Patty. Patrick Meagher joins us right now, live on the Progressive Guest Line. The critically acclaimed host of VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Weeknights from 7 to 10 Eastern Time. Patty and the big guy. Hello, Patrick.
Pardon Pete? Is that an SNL skit? I mean, we've been here, like, what is... I mean, it's unbelievable.
PardonPete.com.
Yeah.
PardonPete.com.
Well, I got to log on after our hit here. Adam, how we doing? Props to you and your son's Knicks. Big time last night.
I got to tell you, I give my son Theo credit. I figured, you know what? Bedtime, 9 o'clock. It's not going to happen again. And we let him stay up, obviously, for game 1. And, he's at an age of 10 right now where, he's not going to go to bed if his team's playing, per se. He said, no, Dad, we're going to come back. I'm like, all right, fine. Even though it wasn't going to happen. And it just kept going. And honestly, to me, it was a Celtics choke. And the Knicks' defense and tenacity and clutch nature was unbelievable. Bridges, OG, Mitch, Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, give Thibodeau credit. Patty, that was a big-time victory for my Knicks last night.
And now your Knicks still dogs in the series. Celtics down 0-2. A short favorite in the series. What would you do with that price? Let's just say it's 115-ish on the Celtics. You believe your Knicks win this series?
So this is where I need you to help me because I'm cautiously optimistic. That's the right way to. I'm not crowning anyone or anything. I'm cautiously optimistic. I do think the fact that you can grab the Knicks currently as a dog is great because I think that we've seen that this version of the Celtics doesn't have the same drive, the same focus, the same clue. I think their offense has been lazy and arrogant, shooting all these threes haphazardly, 17 or more on the shot clock. And, we haven't even seen yet, Patrick, and here's what interests me, right? And this is a long-winded answer to your question, because we haven't seen the Knicks play well yet. The Garden on Saturday is going to be rocking. And if Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns get off to a piping hot start, look, I'm not going to tell you they're going to run Boston out of the building, but they're going to have a golden opportunity to go up 3-0 in this series.
No, your point's perfect. The Knicks haven't even played well. I think they come back loose. The Celtics, by the way, you could tell they were in their own head. They were shook. They couldn't decide if they were going to take a three, drive to the basket. Tatum forgot how to dribble on that last possession. I think the Celtics are in their head. By the way, they're 25 of 100 from three over the first two games. That's not tremendous.
No, it's not. So let me ask you, what play do you have on Knicks Celtics the rest of the way?
I'd take the Knicks. Just like I said, I totally agree with you. Something feels off with the Celtics. Again, moving forward, if those threes aren't falling, I think it only precipitates. I think it gets worse for the Celtics. And opposite of what happened with the Pistons. See, the Knicks were in the favored position against the Pistons. So when they came back home, they were tight. They're coming back home loose as a goose. They know they haven't played well. And they've got the Celtics, the champs, in an 0-2 hole. I love the spot the Knicks are in.
Yeah, I do too. Again, cautiously optimistic is the right way to phrase it. I was stunned by the ebb and flow last night. It's unprecedented for a team to come back down 20 in consecutive playoff games. I was absolutely floored by that. The OKC Denver game last night for me was under the as expected umbrella. What did you see last night from the Thunder and the Nuggets?
I saw exactly, like you said off the air, what we expected to see from the Celtics, and I'll just parlay it into tonight. I think we're going to see this from Minnesota. It's pretty simple. No Steph, no chance tonight, Adam. And so bettors know when there's an interim head coach, you're going to get an emotional boost that first game. It's the same thing. There's akin to what happens when a superstar goes down like Steph did in game one in game. The rest of the team rallies. Now reality is starting to set in. First off, Draymond had his best shooting night since Michigan State. That's not going to happen. Buddy Hield is basic. He's not going to continue to go off. And I love what Finch did. I'm sure you played it on your show. I love what Finch did calling out Anthony Edwards. I think Edwards is the type of dude that reacts to that. The 10.5, I think, to answer your original question, what we saw last night was expected, and I think we see it again tonight. Lay it with the Timberwolves.
I love your take on Finch and Edwards. I agree. I think Ant is going to go over 30. I was really disappointed with game one. I don't think he'll be like Jason Tatum and have consecutive duds and dogs this postseason. I think that the blip and the aberration for Ant is going to be game number one. What about Minnesota and Golden State moving forward? Do you give this team without Steph? And honestly, Patty, I don't know if we're going to see Steph again. I think by the nature of that press release, reevaluated his 37 hamstring. Warriors historically conservative. And I think that factors in when you start talking about a future play and a bet here on Minnesota and how many games they can win this series.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I don't think there's a chance we see Steph the rest of the way. You could tell it's grade 1, but he's certainly not playing, of course, in game 2. I don't think he's playing in game 3. And without that, Adam, they're just way too short. The usage rate for Steph, everything goes through him. Alleviated a little bit with Jimmy Butler in the mix, but still, you saw how hard he had to work against Houston to get off shots. Now you can diversify defensively if you're Minnesota and focus on a team that is inept without Steph offensively. I'd pick Minnesota in 5, go 3-1 here.
Yeah, I picked Minnesota in 6. I think you'll end up being correct. It'll be Minnesota in 5. Now, Patty, before we get to the old pucks, you had Bill Mott on your show on Monday night. Of course, VSiN Live on Mad Dog Sports Radio with Patty and the Big Guy. And you put his feet to the fire. You grilled him like the journalist that you are about sovereignty and the status for the Preakness. And Mott said he gave you something. I was listening live. A decision by Tuesday or Wednesday. What was your reaction when Mott said sovereignty's not going to run in the Preakness?
Well, firstly, I appreciate you asking me about this, Adam, because I'm super passionate about horse racing. Well, how about some good news for SiriusXM listeners to VSiN right now? Mike Somich gave out the superfecta that paid over $1,600. So go subscribe, become a VSiN Pro. Having said all that, 15 years ago, I got obsessed with the sport of horse racing and horses in general. So it became a hobby, and doing what we do, I was able to do some broadcast and be around some of the people in the know in the industry. Adam, horse racing is full of unsavory characters. Bill Mott might be the best of the bunch. He is a 71-year-old Hall of Famer, been around the sport for 50 years. So when sovereignty was pointed to the Belmont and not the Preakness, my first reaction is he's going to take a lot of undue heat for this decision. There's so much that goes into whether or not to run a horse. The connections have a lot to say. And most have heard now this is Saudi sheik money that owns sovereignty. So my assumption was that the connections made the decision. Mott's in a catch-22. He cares about the horse first and foremost. So if he doesn't believe the horse is sound to run 2 weeks later, which, by the way, Adam, in modern day horse racing, running in 2 weeks just doesn't happen. That's what makes the Triple Crown so amazing. So Mott's in a catch-22. He says the horse isn't ready to run in 2 weeks. People kill him for not following tradition. He runs the horse. People get all over him for maybe not looking after the care of the horse. I just felt bad, like Dog, our partner over on Mad Dog Sports Radio, killing Mott. I think Mott is a small percentage of this decision not to run sovereignty in the Preakness.
I echo your sentiments completely. Patty, give me a quick pick tonight. Washington and the Hurricanes in the NHL.
It's I don't know if you saw the price. We're close to 150 on the Caps at home. That is ridiculous. Right. This is literally a price play. By the way, under 5.5, I'll go there as well. Top overall seed in the East. And here's the thing. The Hurricanes are a bad road team this year. The Capitals have been amazing at home. I think the Hurricanes go on to win the series. I just freaking love the spot for the Capitals tonight. They couldn't have played worse on offense and lost in overtime in game 1. They have to get better offensively. I'll take the Caps plus 145 as we show on the screen.
We're on the same page. It's one of my best bets as well. Said it earlier. We'll stress it again. Have some more best bets. Patty, you're the best, my friend. Appreciate it as always. Talk to you next week.
Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you.
You're watching Make It Rain on VSiN, the sports betting network.
You ready to get in on the action? First Bets has you covered. Sign up now and get the access to the exclusive promotions. Bet on hundreds of thrilling horse races every single day, right from your phone or computer. Go to firstbet.com. That's the number one, ST. Bet.com. Use promo code VSiN200. Score a 28% rebate on all the wagers for the first 60 days. Up $200. Don't miss out. Start betting today. Firstbet.com. Welcome back. Make it rain with Adam Schein. Time for the news, notes, nuggets, and nightly plays. And we start with some news on baseball. A little check at the afternoon games, and we told you that in the 8th inning, the Minnesota Twins were a heavy favorite to beat the Baltimore Orioles after they scored that run, and it was a 2-1 game. Then they made it 2-2. Well, Vegas knew, and we told you that that's where the money was moving. 5-2 is your final, with the Minnesota Twins beating the Baltimore Orioles, who are now 10 games under 500. I told you before the season, I never took the cheese on Baltimore. Vegas had them as the team that had the second, third best odds to win the American League. We didn't even pick them to make the playoffs. We picked the under for Baltimore before the season for the win total. That is a bad loss. Wasted a good start for Dean Kramer this afternoon. Rangers, Red Sox. I'll tell you, the Rangers have not lived up to my expectations. Not in any way, shape, or form. So there's another level. Still early to push the panic button, but good day for the Red Sox. 4-0 right now when you look at the Red Sox and the Rangers. 4-0 is also the score with my Royals and the Chicago White Sox. And Sal Perez having himself a day, couple of big hits today. Sal Perez has a couple of RBI. Bobby Witt Jr. has a couple of hits today, scored a couple of runs. So good stuff today. Buick with 6 strikeouts. So the prop is looking good for him if you had the over for strikeouts. So that is certainly some good stuff today for the Kansas City Royals. And folks, the Tigers have only bat for a couple of innings, and they're already up 7-0. And this tells you all you need to know about the Tigers and the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies need a new owner, and they should move to either Nashville or Montreal. That's how I feel about the Colorado Rockies. Tigers, A.J. Hinch's team is going to be in the mix for the World Series, represent the American League. 7-0, your score. 7-0, your score as we speak. Very early in that baseball game with the Tigers and the Colorado Rockies. That is game 1 of a doubleheader. Second game starts at 6:40. Can you imagine if you're a fan of the Rockies and you bought a seat and you're going to sit and watch the Tigers just maul your Colorado Rockies for 18 innings of baseball? More power to you, I guess. Pirates fired Derek Shelton. The hell took you so long? The manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates needed to be fired, mainly because he's terrible at his job. Bench coach Don Kelly has been named the interim manager. Pirates are a disgrace to baseball, society, and sports in general. The Pittsburgh Pirates should be excellent. They have a great fan base, a beautiful stadium. They have Paul Skeens. They don't spend any money. The owner is an embarrassment. The Pirates are 12-26. Paul Skeens every 5th day was a holiday in Major League Baseball last year. You can't even check out the Pirates anymore because Derek Shelton and Ben Cherington and ownership has completely just torn this team apart. They don't give him a chance, and the manager needs to go, the GM needs to go, the owner needs to go, and if things don't change soon, Paul Skeens is going to end up leaving as well. How about my New York Yankees walking it off, taking the series against the Padres? Max Fried was terrific. Dylan Cease was strong. Cody Bellinger hit a homer. Trent Grisham, the Trent Grisham revenge game. Remember, the Yankees got him in the massive deal with the Padres. Obviously, Michael King. And what happened to that other guy? I don't even remember. Juan who? Don't even remember who he was. He's long gone. Yankees able to take care of business. That's an excellent dub for my New York Yankees. And I want you to take a look at the American League Cy Young odds because Max Fried with another gem. And I told you to sprinkle on Max Fried when he was plus 800, when he was 2-0 and had 3 good starts. I think Max Fried right now, if you're going to rank him in terms of likelihood, Skubal, Fried. So I think Max Fried is a pretty good odd, a pretty good bet here with pretty solid odds and juice at plus 450 for Max Fried. American League East, look, it's going to be wild. And the Orioles, they're not going anywhere, as we mentioned. Yankees, clear favorites to win the division. I'm not counting out the Red Sox. Look, the Red Sox have not played well at all. They're only 3 games behind the Yankees. We're looking at the loss column. So, and they're in action today. So they're going to get another win. And that's obviously a deal. So I'm not ready to crown anyone when it comes to the American League East, despite the Yankees taking a nice series win over the Padres last night. The aforementioned Juan Soto hit a couple of homers. Mets able to beat the Diamondbacks. It's a real good win for the Mets. Mets have been the best team in baseball to start the season. Mets deserve a lot of credit. Arizona is a really solid squad. NL East odds board, to me, is very interesting when you look at some big picture futures here for the NL East. I keep staring at that Braves plus 350. I keep glaring at it, right? I think the Phillies are better than the Mets. I think that Philly is a good bet here as well. But let's be honest, so far, let's be fair. First 4 or 5 weeks of the baseball season, I've been wrong on the New York Mets. I've been right on the Mariners. And I love the Mariners before the season started. And they're even better than what we expected. Mariners rallied from down 5 runs to beat the A's. They just picked up Tavares on waivers. He had a game-tying 2-out single in the 8th. That was incredible. And their closer has not given up an earned run this year. Seattle has won 9 straight series. That's how you make the playoffs. That's how you get in the mix. American League is going to be congested and jumbled, making the playoffs, especially when you have solid pitching, and Seattle does, especially with Castillo and Gilbert at the top of the rotation. You will be in the conversation. Take a look at the AL West odds right now, right? I mean, first of all, a little love for the A's. Obviously dealt the worst possible hand by that clueless fraud, John Fisher, who has a team playing in Sacramento. I don't believe in the Astros at all, but they're still the Astros. Rangers, I still think, win the division. But best odds right now, Seattle. And they deserve it. I think Seattle is going to find a way to make the playoffs when it's all said and done. I want to take a look at the American League pennant odds board because I think this is significant here when it comes to my point. I think the best bet on the board remains Texas, who I picked to win the pennant before the season. But a couple others I like here. Detroit at plus 475. Seattle plus 600. And yes, my Royals 13-1. Reds beat the Braves last night. Hunter Green has a groin injury, exited the game. That's not what you want, as Hunter Green obviously has been dynamite here for this baseball team and just has been a walking strikeout machine. Props to the Reds, able to hold on. They have another game coming up. These Reds and Braves games have been wildly entertaining. So we'll get more on the Reds and the Braves coming up tonight in Atlanta. That's going to be a lot of fun. Atlanta has a pitching matchup advantage in this one and a massive betting favorite. Diamondbacks and the Dodgers. Looking forward to this series starting tonight. Yamamoto, Brandon Pfaadt is the matchup. That's going to be a good one. Look, Diamondbacks, obviously a really strong team. I think the Dodgers will be able to get a win, even with the injuries, including Teoscar Hernandez. And I think that the Diamondbacks, when you look at the National League West odds, I expect them to play significantly better over the next few weeks leading up to July 4th, when you really start paying attention to where teams are in the upcoming standings. How about Brandon Beane, the Bills general manager, telling me James Cook will be there for training camp and he's not worried about it? I think that Buffalo had a sensational draft. I can't wait to take the over of 11.5. Love how they focused on defense. That was a plan. Bean told me once Keon Coleman and Dalton Kincaid are former top picks at wide receiver and tight end. Take a next step. He believes it'll happen. I could easily see the Buffalo Bills winning the AFC. Best bets brought to you by GBank. At the GBank Visa signature card today. Most credit cards treat the sportsbook and the gaming transactions as cash advances. GBank treats gaming transactions as purchases. You're saving 35% on cash advances right there. Apply now. VSiN.com/GBank. VSiN.com/GBank. We have a slew of best bets tonight. Phillies, money line, minus 155. Trey Turner, 2 or more bases, plus 115. Blue Jays, money line. Dodgers, money line. Capitals, money line. Oilers, money line. My buddy and me, over 15.5 points. And I just need Mike Conley to give me 6. You're welcome, America and Canada. Right after Making It Rain with Adam Schein, it's Follow the Money. Mitch is on a well-deserved vacation. It's Paulie and Mike Palm. Then VSiN Prime Time, and then cashing out. Thanks to the guys in Vegas. Thanks to the great Mike Cohen. Talk to you mañana. Make it rain. Adam Schein.